Mohammed Cherkaoui. He is a professor of conflict resolution and diplomacy at George Mason University. Mr. Cherkaoui, thank you very much for staying with us. This is not the first time that we've heard that Israeli intelligence might have been warned about Hamas planning to carry out such an attack. Soon after October 7th, there were reports that Egyptian officials had warned Israel that Hamas was planning something. This is the most detailed report of the kind. What do you make of it?
Well, it is a very detailed account. It's a strategic plan, and if we compare it to what happened on the 7th of October, several similarities are astonishing in a way, as if the attack was copying the document that was at the hand of the Israeli intelligence for a year. Apparently, Israel did not take it seriously, and it did not trust the capability of Hamas. So therefore, it was like a wishful thinking, probably the kind of, Israeli intelligence would ridicule it in a way that we have this social movement, Hamas, that is not that advanced in terms of tactics or strategy. But now I think there will be second serious look at it and how we missed this opportunity. And the other question is to what extent it was shared indirectly with the Israeli intelligence deliberately to sort of push them into this disbelief approach that it's not what Hamas could or could not deliver. But definitely it is now attracting a lot of attention, and also it is telling us a little bit about how the mindset. I think there is a dilemma of groupthink within the Israeli intelligence.
That's exactly what I want to ask you about, because Israeli intelligence is supposed to be some of the best in the world. With all of the intelligence that they can collect about Hamas, how could they have thought that it cannot be capable of carrying out such an attack?
And not only one line or two lines or three lines of defense in terms of espionage, in terms of intelligence gathering. I think the whole intelligence establishment is taken by surprise on the 7th, and therefore, if these kind of precedents were delivered, they were known, they were not studied and at their own entirety and at their face value.
But not the entire intelligence establishment, because again, the report mentions that there was a veteran analyst who warned of such an attack taking place, and that it wouldn't be a small raid on an Israeli community, that it would be an attack that could lead to war. She was ignored by a colonel who's in charge of security for Gaza.
It reminds me of what happened in the US 9/11. There were two intelligence officials who had read some signs and had cautioned the establishment to pay attention, but of course they were like pushed aside.
And the commissions that have been led on the 9/11 attacks concluded that it was an intelligence failure.
Absolutely.
Now, the report says that it's not clear whether Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other Israeli leaders would have been made aware of such intelligence. Do you think that they would have? What is the procedure when you have intelligence like this?
And number one, it should take us back to I think it was week 3 of this new war, when Netanyahu blamed the security and intelligence administration that he was not briefed, and then he retracted that famous announcement. That explains now that there has been a rift or a kind of debate whether we should have taken those reports seriously or not. But at the same time now, it seems like there is a mishap or a vacuum of knowledge between how systemic the intelligence is working and how the political elite, especially in terms of Netanyahu and his extreme right government. These guys are not into intelligence, but they are more into their ideologies and to their own philosophies of how to push Netanyahu to more right wing. Therefore, I'm not sure that Netanyahu is aware of what's been missed, but also there is no clear-cut responsibility, how it should go around. Is it the political elite, or is it the political system itself, or some of those professionals of the intelligence? I think now it's still a gloomy picture, and Netanyahu is trying to save himself by just continuing the war. And I would like to also to say that when I heard the spokesman of the Israeli Defense Ministry trying to fabricate a pretext as if Hamas did not honor, I think Hamas was more generous. I mean, the negotiation was about the release of 50 hostages. 105 were released. So it is easy to say how the Israeli government can go back to this escalation and fuse this already,
Mr. Cherkaoui, I'm afraid that's all the time we have in this bulletin, but we thank you very much for your analysis. That is Mohammed Cherkaoui.